Hello and welcome to the Think Share. My name's Zach. I'm here bringing to what I've been thinking about, sharing about, talking about, listening to, reading about that doesn't belong in math class. If you're new to the channel, I invite you to subscribe. It's the third March nor'easter that our state has gone through, and it's like a pretty solid snow day. I think like everyone in Massachusetts also has one. So I have the feeling that we might have a snow day tomorrow as well, but I'm not gonna count my chickens before they hatch. But I wanted to share with you a couple ideas that I've been thinking about today. So one of them was I've been postponing wanting to do this. I don't know if we're gonna have school tomorrow. That we haven't. We'll find out when you do. So I don't know, Alex. But yeah, so one of the things I've been thinking about working on is uh, I really enjoyed making the Gucci Gang video. And one of the videos that I want to be making is something to do with math and something that's also popular, similar to Gucci Gang, but I don't think there's any worse songs out there than that song. So I'm working on writing so in geometry class, I'm teaching some trigonometry, SOHCAHTOA. And I wanted to put together, from the song Rockstar by Post Malone, I'm going to be making a trigonometry song. And I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a peek at it. Um, and I hope you guys like it. Do bank account remix? Who's bank account by? Bank account do a 6ix9ine remix. Who's what song by 6ix9ine and 21 Savage? All right. I'll have to learn more about these. What I'm looking for is bad songs that are not that hard to cover. So like Gucci Gang was pretty easy. He was pretty slow rapping, and it wasn't that hard to come up with alternate lyrics for. So if I can find a bad rap song that will be much easier to work with, then I'll have a better shot at it coming out well, and it probably won't take me as long. Versus the tougher the song, like I don't know, I don't know who makes good rap these days. That's really fast. I don't know the faster ones I'm gonna have a hard time with. But let me give you a little taste of this one. So we know how Post Malone goes. I'm not even. I'm just gonna mumble it because I don't want to say the swears. But I've been blanking and popping billies like man, I feel just like a rock star. Hey, hey. All my brothers got that gas and they be always smoking like a rasta. So here's how the trig song's gonna go. I'm like a little bit embarrassed to do this, so bear with me, and I hope you enjoy it. Wait, let me see if I can put on the instrumental here. I haven't practiced this to music yet, so you're literally getting like sneak peek here. Wait for it. I've been calculating angles from a right triangle using SOHCAHTOA. All my sides and angles be used to calculate and measure. First we identify the angles to the hypotenuse is which one. Hypotenuse is always from the 90 degree, always across. Then we're making labels for which is adjacent, opposite from the angle. Again, I still got things to work out. Next we set up sin, cosine, tangent equations. Oh, I lost it. Hold on a second. I'll come back. Hold on a second. Do we have an O and A or I lost it. I'm not gonna be able to come back from this. Either way, I hope you. I'll just say it instead of trying to go along with it. So it's hypotenuse is always from the 90 degree, always across. Then we making labels for which is adjacent or opposite from the angle. Next we set up sine, cosine, tangent, or tangent equations. Do we have an O and A or a hypotenuse? Opposites, adjacents, we cop and tans like we finna be like Trump. And then there's that other one where I haven't figured out how to like match up with the way he does the syllables, but it's like the 4590, I think it's so isosceles. It is a special right triangle. So the hypotenuse is root 2. Ooh. Yeah, I still got a lot to work out on that one. But what I realized is I feel like I'm pretty good at coming up with alternate lyrics to these songs. And my goal would be to actually make a song that if you can memorize the lyrics, then the learning's kind of already done for you. If I can come up with a song that's already like people recognize the rhyme scheme to it, then I think if I can make something that will teach them, then I think this would be the best use of my time as a teacher, as a YouTuber, and I'm kind of doing both at along with each other. Thank you, Libby. Libby, what's one of the things that you're learning? Because I know that you're in a little bit younger. What is one of the concepts you're having trouble learning, and what song would you want to do it to? For those that don't know Libby, she's one of my viewers. I'd like to call her a fan, but I feel like we've gotten to know each other a bit more than that. But she's over in the UK. But yeah, I like the so bank account 21 Savage. I got that idea. 6ix9ine. What's a song from 6ix9ine that you think would be a good remix to? I don't know how I'm gonna do these videos. It was a lot of work trying to come up with the Gucci Gang one. So one of the things I think I would really like to do is find somebody to help me do some of the editing. When I pull into my class, students know to work hard. When I pull up into my class, my students know to work hard. Wait, so Nate, what's the oh, is that the first verse you're thinking for that 21 Savage bank account song? Y intercepts in gradients. Wouldn't know what song though. Gradients? I don't even think we teach gradients in America. I know generally what gradients are, but I wonder how specifically they're using that. But yeah, I could definitely do slope. I could definitely do slope and y-intercept on a song. What I'm thinking is I'm gonna dedicate a bunch of my summer to making some of these songs. Part of it is I'm thinking if I were to take the time, so I probably take like 20 minutes or so, go to my comment before lyrics for Rockstar Remix. My comment before lyrics. I don't understand what you're saying, Nate. But I'm realizing that if I were to spend, say, it usually takes me somewhere between 4 to 10 minutes to record a video. And then once I record the video, it usually takes me somewhere between 10 to 40 minutes to edit and make it actually work out. And then, so that's like, I don't know, it can be anywhere from like 20 minutes to 60 minutes, and then multiply that times 7 for a week's worth of work. So that's 7 times 60. That's 420 minutes per week, or 7 hours. What if instead I took 10 minutes to live stream every day at the same time during the summer for the most part, and then I took those 7 hours and just tried to make an awesome video. Because I think what I kind of deliver here is like just daily thoughts and opinions on things. So if I were to do that on a reliable basis, when you could tune in sort of like a TV show, and it's taped for you because it just shows up on the YouTube channel, it's a little bit more uncut. It's a little bit more authentic. I'm not cutting out my words. You can hear how I actually speak, and I don't know if it's more entertaining, but probably wastes more people's time. But if you like listening to me live, then it would be more useful. So that's one of the things I've been thinking about is in the summer, I think rather than trying to come up with a bunch of ideas, which is sort of what I did last summer, this summer I think I'm going to try to make more useful, entertaining things that teach math, that use what we already do. Quadratic formula, got it. I'll be doing trig in class, man. I feel just like a math boss. I like it. When I pull up in class, my students know how to work hard. This is an idea for, I got it. I don't even know if I'm realizing that for this trig one, I think I'm gonna do using SOHCAHTOA, using special right triangles like 30, 60, 90, 45, 45, 90, And I think I could probably do law of sines, law of cosines in there as well, if I can use my verses effectively. I don't know if I'll be able to use those, but I like them. Thank you for the idea. Let's see, what was the other thing? So I got yours, Alex, the quadratic 1y-intercepts. But yeah, I would love to come up with more ideas for what people are having trouble learning, and find out what kind of like musical, what kind of things you are all already familiar with that would be useful for you to learn concepts through, and that maybe you could even memorize, and then you don't have to like memorize it. It's just kind of musically in your memory. If you live stream this time every day, that would be cool, because I normally can't watch because of the time zones. Let's see, what is it? It's like 4-ish right now. Yeah, usually I aim, and this is really not, I haven't been aiming very well, but I usually try to aim for a 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock upload time, but I haven't been doing a very good job of that lately. I've been putting my timing for this sort of secondary to a lot of the other things I'm up to. So I could see that happening for the summer. I don't know if I could probably, but I'm not sure if I'm interested in making that number one, because we're working on the house right now. Today I was actually on the phone with one of the people that is possibly going to lend us money. So I don't know how familiar you all are with like how much things cost, but the house we have, uh, it's like a couple $100,000. It's If we do updates to it, it'll be worth a little bit over $500,000. So we're going to have to take out some pretty sizable renovation loans, like probably 40, 50, $60,000. And it's weird talking about money in that kind of increment. So that's one of the things we've been working on today. Another thing I wanted to share, along with sort of making art, is today on the snow day, I usually don't hang out with the animals so much, but my sister-in-law, she dropped off her dog Bo, and he was rude to me last time I went in to hang out with him, so I didn't include him on the live stream. But normally I like hanging out with them, and I probably spent just 20 minutes like playing with them. I never play with animals, so I invite you all, if you have pets that you maybe are a task often, like you have to go walk them, you have to feed them, etc. Maybe take some time today on your snow day to appreciate them for who they are. Because you know what I've realized about animals is that they kind of love you unconditionally. Most of the time, they're not there to judge you. They're not there to hate on you. They just kind of love you unconditionally. It's really all the words that go through our brains that cause the judgment that make us human, and that we end up disliking people for. So I invite you to take some extra time to love your pets. I found it very therapeutic today, knowing that I didn't have to really accomplish anything because I had my lesson plans ready for tomorrow. But it was a great thing to do. Show my teacher channel. Basically watch it. Thank you so much for showing that to your class. In tutor time. What's tutor time? I wonder if that's like sort of free time that you can talk about other things. One of the other things I've been doing on our snow day, so I'm staying in Chelmsford, which is where my wife's parents live, and where I've lived for the past. I lived here for about a year and a half-ish before I moved to my parents and now our house. But I decided to stay up here because Alyssa was almost had to work today, and her uncle is also here. So we were playing ping pong earlier, and it was really fun. This is like a pretty sweet cave of games. We got like the Bowflex back there. We got a stationary bike at the treadmill, and then you can see the ping pong table back there. We got foosball right there. Get this kind of sweet screen TV. We don't use that too much, but tutor time we have at registration every morning. I wonder if that's sort of like our homeroom. So at my school and a couple other schools I've had, hey, thanks, David. One of the things we do at the beginning of the school day is we have homeroom, and it's really just to check in for attendance, but also we show KPTV, which is a student created YouTube channel from the broadcasting class. And on Thursdays and Fridays, we watch what the students have made, and it's pretty much like school news. Sometimes it's like local or it's like international news, but most of the time it's like school news, especially for sports. And we found out about other things that have been going on. It's a really cool channel that I invite people to check out. I think it has like 600 subscribers. There's no one person actively making it happen. It's all student generated, and I think the advisor runs the channel. David, what would you like me to talk about either now or in one of the videos in the future? Trying to think. Another thing we did today, which I usually don't make time for, but I usually love playing, is chess. I am so sad I lost. Well, I didn't lose. We stalemated. One of my favorite ways to play chess is usually to like aggressively go after the other person's pieces so that you're just playing with like pawns and like one power piece and like your king, and just all the queens are gone, rooks are gone, bishops are gone. Like I just crush everything, so you're working with something really minimal. So for chess players out there, and I know one of the guys that I played in one of my geometry classes, he hated the way I was playing because I would take out all of his good pieces. Are you going to do a video for 400 subs? I will likely do that. So I had said I was going to do a book giveaway for either when I hit 400 or when March happened. So I've sent it to the people that emailed me or contacted me back. I feel like I need to do something a little bit cooler. One of the things I am having a hard time seeing it actually happen, but I really I would like to make this happen is by April 1st, have 500. So I got like 2 weeks, which means 14 days. So that's like I have to have about 7 subs per day from here till April to make that happen. And then I was gonna set from April, so April, May, June, by July 1st, I wanted to have 1,000. I think I'll have a little bit more time for that. I think in April, during April vacation, I'm going to do something for, I'm trying to think of it sort of a special event. So one of the things that recently happened, which I'm excited about, but I haven't really advertised about it much, is the audiobook that I was working on back in November and last year. Finally finished, but I never got an email from Audible saying like, hey, it's available on Audible now. So for all my Audible listeners out there, that's like my favorite app to listen to books through. For all my Audible listeners, like it's available now, Ideas Over Coffee. And I don't have any like books. I can order hard copies and have them and sign them and stuff. Currently, I just have a ton of MP3 files. So what I could do is burn them onto discs and have them available. But most people don't have CD players, so I guess I could just have it on USB. So I could do maybe for it. The other thing, Alex, that's coming up is not only 400 subs. I'm about to have my 300th video on this channel. You should challenge yourself on music videos to try doing a Joyner Lucas remix or Logic remix. Music is meant to challenge you. But that's so challenging. I'll tell you what. In the spirit of that, I've been wanting to make some of my own music instead of just remixing things. And I said to myself, I don't want to just do instrumentals over other people's beats. Instead, I would rather make my own music. So I actually started it, and I just put down a really, really simple beat. It was just, and then I wrote lyrics to it, but the hard part from there was actually getting the words to match up, because I mean, normally when I'm remixing something, I know what I'm matching up with. So it's been hard to make my own song, but that is something that I want to do, is to challenge myself. But I don't know if I'm interested in just learning how to rap faster. By the way, sir, I got all yeses on my, hey, congratulations, Libby. Libby and I have been talking back and forth a little bit about what she can do to improve one of the areas of her life. So she's giving me a little update for those reading the message board. But you like challenges. I can help you make music if you want to get a recording studio of my own now. All right, Nate, I'm interested in that. I could definitely be down with that. Here's as I've been wanting to make some of my own music, I started trying to teach myself to beatbox in the car ride to school. So again, this is gonna come out bad, similarly to the Rockstar remix, but try to bear with me. See if you can guess in the comments what this song is. Again, it's gonna come out bad. After like first or second time through, it gets a little bit better. It's from the early 2000s. I'm still messing up the end of it. Any guesses yet? It's slowed down from what the actual song is. If you can also, on your end, I can't do it too. Some beatboxers can do this. If in the background you have this little high pitch like, if you put that in the background, it might sound more familiar. All right, in the comments again, see if you can guess it. I'll try to speed it up a little bit. Mess it up again. Any guesses yet? It must be really bad if no one's guessing it, or it could be that it's a little bit earlier than your time. So it sounds familiar, like I've heard it. I'll give you another hint. So one of the artists, he's not the main artist. I think if I give you the original artist, it'll be a little too easy. One of the featured artists is Pharrell Williams, and I don't know, it's a hip hop song. I'm trying to think of other hints I could give without one of the verses to it is "When the pimp's in the crib, ma." I would love to see someone guess it. I want it to be good enough that someone can guess it. I'll go again. Wait, I'll play the other instrumental version of it. It'll be interesting if you guys hear this. Then I'll find out whether. There we go. Thank you, Nate. Drop It Like It's Hot. It's the song. I don't know. Yeah, it is Drop It Like It's Hot by Snoop Dogg. Let's see how bad it was. Drop It Like It's Hot. When the pimp's in the crib, ma, drop it like it's hot. I've been working on this one just because I thought it was kind of fun. Yep, it's way too fast for me to keep up with, but I hope that kind of sounded accurate. But yeah, that's one of the things I've been working on. What was the other thing I was working on? Oh, another thing I would love to share with you all. So on the field trip that we went on recently, I'm gonna have to set up the camera to actually capture this. Let's see. On the field trip I went to recently. So this was the MASC Student Council Leadership Conference. One of the things I ended up doing was learning some dance moves. Supposed to go on the field trip. What field trip were you supposed to go on, Alex? I'm curious. But the conference that we went on, one of the things you end up doing is sort of like, you do energizers, you do, I don't know, you just do a lot of things to step outside your comfort zone. JFK Museum, that's sweet. I hope they'll bump it back. One of the things I love about Student Council Conference, which the past like 4 or 5 days I've been talking about, is you just end up doing all these kind of strange, crazy things. You meet a lot of people, and you end up learning things you probably wouldn't expect to learn. So thank you to his nickname is BK. I won't say his full name, but for anyone that knows, this is one of the dance moves I learned. I don't know what it's called, but I have so much fun doing it. So they had a bunch of different moments where they were just playing music in the background, and we would just all break out and dance. Now, I was considered an advisor for this. Like, I was supposed to be a teacher with students. I think I might have been the only advisor dancing at a lot of the different moments. So here's what it looks like. Let me know in the comments if you know what this is called. So I don't know if you can even see it that well. So your knees go side to side. Wait a second. Challenge you to write down a song, something you've done. Oh no. All right. Wait a second, maybe I can prop myself up. No, we'll just stick with this. So it's just you go side to side with your knees, and then you just like switch your arms so you go. Wait, I gotta put on some music. Let's see. I don't know what's a good song. Well, I'll just dance because you don't really need music to it, but you just go like this. It's just so much fun to do. And then you get the head rolling, and then you cross your arms a little bit, and then you just like, I don't know. I had so much fun learning how to do it. And I invite you all to learn it because it's like applicable to anything, any kind of song that you want to dance to. It's so much fun. And you have to do the shoot challenge. What is that? Challenge you to write your own song about something you have done through like your school struggles or something. I could do that. I think my toughest struggles as I was going through the school. What was that? Peak Ninja? Pick the Cotton Gay Boy Monkey? Is that what the dance move is called? I'd be surprised if that's what it's called, but I'm not really sure what you're asking me to do. Pick the cotton? I don't get it. But yeah, I think my main school struggle back when I was much younger was probably just being bullied. So I admittedly have not had it that hard throughout my life. A lot of things have come pretty easy, but probably the worst is middle school and the very beginning of high school, when I had a really crappy identity. I had a really poor relationship like with myself. On a day-to-day basis, I would often come home crying because they'd pick on me. Most of it, I think, was because I was younger than pretty much everyone else my age. It's like a weird whip move. It's a weird whip move. So are you saying that that's the name of the dance move I was doing? But to finish what I was saying, yeah, the struggle from middle school is just I was pretty much the youngest in my grade. So for all my sports teams, like outside of school, I was playing with people that were like a year younger than me. So I feel like a lot of the people my age group kind of looked down to me because I was in a different league, and the people that were younger than me the grade below me looked at me as a peer and like an equal. So all the time when I'd be in my regular classes or like gym class, they'd all see me as like lesser or smaller, which I was smaller. I wasn't that big. I mean, I've obviously grown quite a bit. I'm 6'5" now, but for all my high school career, I was undersized for my age, sort of. And at some point when I went to Hyannis freshman year of high school, that was when I sort of got a new identity. I could relate to myself as something else. Going back to what Nate said, tell me about that shoot challenge more, Nate. Maybe not right here. It's a dance you hop on one leg while you whip. Oh, I mean, I know that. That's the whip. When I was in middle school, people called me an ape because I was black. That sucks, Peak Ninja. I'm really sorry to hear that. You're too afraid to stand up for yourself. Were you did you not have like a group of friends that did accept you, would be my question, because I feel like I did have a small group of people that accepted me, and that was what kind of made school a bit easier, because even they would pick on me, but at the same time it was like a little bit more loving. So even though they'd pick on me, it was like on some level I knew they were my friends, although I don't know if some of them wouldn't really back me up, like in a fight or something. Like they would egg me on to see me get my ass kicked, but That that sucks, and I'm sorry. The main thing they used to pick on me for was I had blonde legs, blonde leg hair, so you can't really see it here, but it's gotten a little bit darker. But this was like all blonde when I was growing up, so and it's like it's still not dark by any means, but it was like super blonde to the point you couldn't tell that it was there, and so they accused me of shaving my legs, and they kept saying like I hadn't hit puberty, like your voice hasn't even dropped, like something else hasn't dropped, and that was like the main thing is they'd pick on me for being small, little, um, for being a pansy, or I'm not going to use other words, but just kind of girly. So that was probably the toughest I had it. And at one point, I remember probably one of the more traumatizing ones that I've definitely gotten over the years is at some point I have no idea why they did this, but they peed in a Gatorade bottle and then threw the Gatorade bottle at me. Like they opened up the lid and like threw it at me. Now they said it wasn't purposeful that the lid came off, but that was probably the worst one. Was being covered in someone else's urine. That's probably the roughest I ever had it in term. That was like that was in high school actually, but this is one of the other people that was. Let me come back to these comments because I've missed a bunch of them. Oops. It's a little different. Look it up on YouTube. Two friends. All right, I'll look that up on YouTube. I did. We all got called monkeys, but we're good friends. So one of the things that's interesting, Peak Ninja, is that I feel like a lot of people, as we get picked on, is that we sort of learn to own the names that people give us. I didn't do a very good job of it, but some people do. I think that's probably the reason that the N-word has come to be used the way that it is for a long time it was used to suppress people. And I think that over some time, like a large group of people have kind of reclaimed that word and said, no, this is ours, and we're going to talk to each other using it. And I think a lot of people, so like also the word queer. So we've heard probably not so much this generation, but the generations before us, the word queer was very much used as an insult for people from the LGBTQ community. And so at some point they reclaimed it, and you'll see things that are run as you've gotten called a Caleb queer. I don't know what a Caleb queer is, but queer was definitely a phrase, a term that was used to, by people in that community to reclaim it, and they would call each other queer. They literally have events that I think I've actually been to one run by the community, calling it Queer Fest. So it's interesting how when we get called names, there are some ways that we can sort of reclaim it. It would be like if I started calling myself a crybaby and like told my friends to call me that as well. Being called Caleb is really mean insult. I don't think I've ever heard of that one before. Is that new? I'm curious about that. People are horrible. People are definitely horrible. I'm as thick as a brick, though. Called, Libby, I don't know what you mean when you say you're as thick as a brick, bro. Though, I've gotten called. You have never heard called dumb a lot because I'm definitely. Now, Libby, if you agree with them that you're dumb, then you're probably not helping yourself. I don't think you are. I don't think that you can dig as deep as you do through your own mind and call yourself dumb. Sometimes when you don't grasp math concepts or English or science or some subject, that does not make you dumb. It just means you're having trouble with those certain subjects. There's no need to generalize our entire selves to do that. Like Joseph Silla saying, no one is dumb. Alex, March Madness prediction. Caleb is an African slang for sped. Interesting. I've never heard that one before. I will make sure not to use this. Do you know who Caleb McKerney is? I also do not know who Caleb McKerney is. I can look that up, though. McKerney. Oh, weird. Oh, that's the person that was trolling me at some point in time, I think. Because when I look up that name, the first thing that comes up is that when I look up that name, the first thing that comes up is my face, uh, which they stole from the video I did where my wife did my makeup. As thick as a brick means really dumb, basically, and you're really not smart. Well, Libby, my invitation to you is to stop referring to yourself as that. And on a very different note, I'll say this about March Madness, which I have no idea who's even in the tournament, but if they were, which I kind of doubt they are, is I would be rooting for UMass. I'm assuming they're not in the March Madness tournament. Here's my question though. Why is it that we care so much about March Madness? I haven't been able to wrap my head around that. Like, I guess it's the same thing as Super Bowl hype, but the question is, why do we care? Hey, Caleb, one of my favorite trolls. What's up, my thought boy? I don't know what that means. What does it mean to be a thought boy? I love when my troll haters come on. Caleb, I have no idea who you are or why you sort of pick on me, but I love it. What you got today? Any questions? What? You love me? I don't believe that. I would be if I'm looking at literally the image you have, and I'm surprised you would. If you love me, why would you choose the image of me? I think I have some eyeshadow on in that picture actually. I'm very curious as to why you chose that picture to have as your background. The other night, I had one of my other favorite troll haters on. I won't mention them, but I think that they comment quite a bit because you look hot in that picture. Interesting. I would not have considered that myself, but thank you, Caleb. You're my Lord and Savior baby. All right, interesting. I don't know what to do with that. If you call someone, I'm all for what Joseph Sill is talking about. He's saying pretty much if you call someone a sheep all their life, they become a sheep. If you call someone smart, so I mean that right there is growth mindset. So growth mindset versus fixed mindset. That's the idea that growth mindset is pretty much talking about brain elasticity or brain plasticity, which means that our brains can expand, maybe not physically, but the neurotransmitters that are the little pieces in our brain that are going back and forth trading information, the more you use them, the better they get. And by using certain kinds of them, you're going to get better at different kinds of skills. So what I would say is if you are someone that is using growth mindset, then you are kind of preaching to yourself that you're good, you're capable, you're smart, etc. And one of my favorite quotes, which goes right along with this, is the what's his first name? Ford. What's the Henry Ford? The Henry Ford quote, if anyone knows it, is if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. He used to be the type of CEO that would force his people to do things. Like he said he wanted people to, I forget what kind of an engine it was, but he said, I want you to make this engine. And they're like, no, Henry, it can't be done. He's like, no, it can, because I came up with it in my brain, therefore it can't exist. And I mean, that's why the reason Ford became so successful was because he was able to think and create things in his mind that are greater than what other people thought were possible. So growth mindset's probably one of the most powerful things you can adopt for yourself that I highly recommend, that I talk about quite a bit in my book. And the day that I realized that I had control over my own thoughts on some level, I could sort of train myself to think positively, train myself to think I was capable of things. That was the day that I started changing the trajectory of things. MASC actually had a lot to do with that because I realized that the reputation I had in middle school did not have to be the way that the rest of my life went. So if you call yourself something, you will probably continue to occur for yourself that way, because there's not necessarily any truth in it. So like if I call myself short, maybe I'm short. If I call myself tall, maybe I'm tall, but it's all relative to what I'm comparing it against. Believing is the most powerful thing we can believe. Yeah. So whatever you want to believe in yourself about, yes, I have seen Caleb's video where he distorted the music in my video and reclaimed it for himself. If you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right. It's really just pointing out the fact that there is no right. Like there's no right that exists outside of us that just is a truth or is not true. So you can kind of create your own reality. Gotta go. All right, bye, Libby. It's great to see you and hear from you. I'm gonna change it up, Mr. Watson. Due to the amount of school shootings and threats we've had in 2018, would you say that guns should have a process related to the process of getting licensed? I mean, I think there are a lot of processes for that. Maybe they're working, and I thought it was interesting the other day. One of the things I saw on TV was how many school shootings that in like students with a lot of like arsenals of guns, like how many they'd actually found. So you know, there's as much as there are school shootings, there are also people that are doing a great job at their job, which is to find the people that are, I would say, earmarked for taking some kind of different like crazy actions like that. So I think there are a lot of people out there that are doing a great job at their job, and you know, we all see and hear about it when people aren't doing their job. So if you, I've read quite a bit into the recent shooting, and there it sounds like there are a lot of drops, a lot of things that were dropped in the handling of that individual. There are a lot of red flags that were gone up that were missed, and I think there's a lot of different. If you think of it like a relay race, so the relay from the inception of this individual's thoughts of creating an event like this, to the actions of them actually getting weapons, to the actions of people finding and noticing and seeing those red flags and acting on them, to the actual final carrying out of it and the security that was gotten through. There were multiple drops of the baton there that, you know, things could have been prevented. So I think a lot of people that are very politically motivated in this conversation, they're seeing not the whole picture. I think there are some places that if you were to stop one thing, that could make a huge difference, and some things probably would not make as much of a difference. And we, you know, as a whole, we don't know. We've never had this problem before as a nation. I mean, we've sort of had the problem since the 1990s. I think it was 1999. I'll have to fact check that. When Columbine, I think that was April 20th, 1999 was the first shooting. So I think, you know, the nation and the you know, criminal justice has learned a lot since then about how to deal with these things, and it hasn't, like, it's not a perfect system, and I'm sure it's probably going to get a lot worse before it gets better. But I think there's a lot of people that we don't see that are doing their jobs very well, and if we can keep setting in place the things that are working, and it's just hard to tell what's working. So I don't want to talk a ton about that. You know, I think there's a lot of people get really mad at each other because they have a belief on the way things should be done, and a lot of people have a belief on other ways things should be done. So the question is which set of policies actually work, and it's hard to even know which one works because some people are not dealing with the same circumstances that others are. So the people that have caught shooters before horrible things have happened, I would argue that those are working. and they've happened in a lot of the different states around the country. So if there were a higher concentration in one state than the other, I might say that maybe they ought to look at seeing what the rules of some of the more successful states have been accomplishing versus the ones that have had not as much success. All right, let me come back to some of these comments because you guys have been talking a little bit here. All right. Do a live reaction to my video, my thought boy. I put in so much effort to please Daddy Watson. Are you, what? Caleb, give Mr. Watson $60,000 for his renovations and he'll be happy. I like that answer. Do you think we'll have school tomorrow? I'd be Thor boy. I'd be surprised if we had school tomorrow, and I'm totally prepared to be at school tomorrow. Message retracted. What art were you making? Oh, Joseph, at the beginning I was talking about how I'm going to be, actually at the beginning so I've started the lyrics for remixing the Rockstar song by Post Malone, and the target is going to be teaching SOHCAHTOA trigonometry functions, special right triangles, so that by listening and memorizing some lyrics, you actually don't have to memorize anything else. That kind of does its job for you. Sure, Caleb, I can do a live reaction to your video. That shouldn't be too hard. So, I actually don't know who Caleb is. I'm told that I might have them as a student in the near future. I don't know what grade they're in. I don't know how I would end up having them as a student. And I don't know that anyone has a choice right now over whether they get into my class or not. But what they did was, after I made You're Famous Now? Let's see. Well, you got 6 subscribers. I don't know if I would describe that as famous. I could be wrong, though. Jake Bean's a legend. All right. Oh, interesting. So, last I checked, I don't remember this being the title, but apparently this is the title. So, Caleb McKierney, Creeper Slayer 21 on December 7th published this video. I don't know how to do both at the same time. This is what I'll do. So this is the video. Some of my favorite music on today's ThinkShare. So what they did was I believe I was dancing along to what was it, Flux Pavilion, I Can't Stop or something, and I'm just kind of bobbing my head and like doing like a full body like heave in the back, and I Can't Stop by Flux Pavilion, arguably one of my favorite songs. So looks like what they did was they distorted the music, so it's just like a really heavy bass to the point where you can't recognize the song, and then they just kept me dancing in the back, and then pointed out that I was saying that my favorite song was a totally distorted song, and I'm assuming that would make fun of me because that would be meaning that I don't like good music or something. So Caleb, well done on the troll. I look forward to more in the future. I would love to see your version of the Gucci Gang remix. Or, I mean, I guess you could just steal mine and mess with it or something. Let's see. Let's check some of the song is so fire. Now, Caleb, from what I understand, legends never die. So you say you're a legend. I mean, we're all going to die someday. The question is how long past our death will we live that will make us a legend. So I was actually thinking the other day that because of this YouTube channel, unless someone unless someone hacks my account, deletes all my existence online, I realized one day that my great grandkids will hopefully be able to hear me as sort of a young man at age 20 something. for like a long time. So it's kind of cool. YouTube can create you as a legend because you get to live for a long time. So Caleb, I guess you're right. You are a legend because, wait a second, sort of, because you're not actually in the video. So the video is of me, unless, am I missing? Do you have any other videos? No, that's your only one. You have 52 videos, 52 views. Congratulations. But I don't know that you're gonna live that much longer if you don't create a presence that people are going to want to remember. So, I mean, your only video right now is just trolling me. So I don't know if I would agree with you that you're a legend based on the definition that legends never die. All right, man, gotta go see it. Thank you, Joseph. What song was that? That was Flux Pavilion. Nate, glad to hear you got a new guitar. Wait, Nate, do you have any uncut things up on your channel? And or is it just your name that is on YouTube? Yes, it is. So for other people watching right now, one of the other people that's commenting is Nate Duhart. He is a former student of mine. He's graduated. He is had some college, and he's a really good guitarist and an arguably good singer. Last year, we went out and I just asked people if I could have a friend play a song for them. So Nate, maybe if I could work on my singing voice, we can serenade strangers and maybe make even better videos. So it's not me just recording, although that could work fine. But yeah, he has. Let's see how many videos you got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He's got 12 videos up. Mostly of his guitar singing and playing. Some pretty good stuff so far. Let's see. That was actually sick, bro. What's that behind me? There's a baseball bat with a Red Sox hat on it. It's from the 2007 World Series. It's like a commemorative bat. It's not mine. It's my father-in-law's. I'm currently at my in-laws' house. Custom gold guitar, 100% custom, own brand and everything. What? Get out of here with that, Nate. No, still legend, thought boy. I still don't get what a thought boy is. I'm such a legend, says Caleb. Interesting. We made his channel just to roast you. Wait, Alex, you helped make that one? I have 2,000 plus wins on Fortnite. Congratulations. I don't know that anyone cares. That means you're an effing god. Again, pretty debatable. Gang, thought boy. All right. They're all uncut and have been down to that. If you want to come, yeah. Let's do something again, Nate. No, it was moving. No, I'm gonna upload a new video tonight. Oh yeah. So if you want to check out what Nate has been up to, feel free to check out his YouTube channel. He'll have more guitar covers and hopefully some original songs in the near future. Thank you all for joining me today. Any questions before I go? I'm thinking probably wrap it up. So some of the notes I took at the beginning were a recommendation for teaching slope and intercept form and or quadratic formula. Go back on the recording, dude. Go back on the recording, dude. I don't know how to do that. But yeah, Bank Account by 21 Savage and 6ix9ine was the artist, but I think I would like to know some songs you'd like to hear me remix. But those are some ideas. All right, I won't go yet. Poke Go Bros. Those are some ideas I got from the beginning on some videos that I could make to teach people about math and remix. Watson, do you land at Tilted Towers? I don't know what that means. I'm guessing that's a Fortnite reference. I don't know what Tilted Towers are. Have you ever been called a monkey cotton picker like me? I don't think so. I have been called a variety of other names, but no, I do not think I've been called that before. My mom never told me what it meant because I knew it was bad. My question back to you would be, do you think it was wise of her to to not share that with you? And or would it have been better if she just told you? And what age were you told that at the first time? I guess the answer to that would be depending on what age. I imagine at some ages that would be valuable. Some ages it's probably good that we don't know things. I'll look up a cotton here. It's a Fortnite reference. I played it but stopped because I was getting addicted. Yeah, speaking of video games and getting addicted, I literally have chosen not to take out my Xbox in our new house or my parents' house because I am absolutely prone to getting addicted to playing video games. My dad left for the store 3 years ago. C plays, why are you sharing that? Not that there's anything wrong with it. I'm just curious why you're sharing that. I also don't really know why you're sharing that. Cotton picker is a slave. I mean, there are other people that picked cotton, but as an attempted insult, I would agree with that. Probably that's probably the reference. Peak Ninja, how old are you? And or C plays, how old are you? And Caleb, how old are you? I'm very curious as to if like you're a freshman or if like you're in high school. Halo or COD. Poke Go Bros, what are your other questions? Because you're the one that asked me to not leave yet. But wait, Halo or COD? I played Halo and COD. I'd probably pick COD over Halo. I wasn't ever really that good, but I got reasonably good at Call of Duty. I'm not horrible. All right, see you later, Nate. Thanks for joining us. Any other questions before I go? I'm kind of out of material or things to talk about unless you guys have questions. I can do Q&A for more. Regarding March Madness, yeah, I do not have the time or patience to watch the NCAA games. I do not have the time or patience to fill out a bracket and try to analyze who's actually going to win because I'm better off with a 50-50 bet than actually trying to figure that out. Just turned 17, never knew what a cotton picker was. Yeah, C plays, go ahead, shoot away. What are your questions? But yeah, in terms of March Madness, I've not filled out a bracket because I have no opinion, and I mean, it would just be, you have a lot of questions. All right, hit me with them. Go for it. 1, am I gay? I'm not. I'm currently married to my wife, Alyssa. Just do the bracket for fun. Cool to see. Is the audiobook free? It is not currently free. I'm told that I can get free codes, but Poke Go Bros, if you are an Audible person, I think I would be happy to give you a code. Oh, that was your only question, C Plays? I think you could have probably figured that out. I'm surprised that was your own. I thought you said you had so many questions. Did I like your question? I mean, it was an easy one. It didn't require much thought to it. I don't know if I liked it. Do it on why you think teachers are going to be obsolete. So the reason I think teachers will probably be obsolete, I don't feel like doing a video right now, but I'll talk about it for a moment. So the other day when I was in class, I'm curious, Jimmy Blue Chip, if you were if you're in that class or if you were someone that heard that. So someone asked me why am I doing Khan Academy homework. So part of the reason that I wanted to do Khan Academy homework, Peak Ninja, I'll remind me that in a couple minutes after I'm done answering this first one. The reason I do Khan Academy homework is because I wanted students to be able to, one, have a tutorial video and or a walkthrough of a question that they had on something. I wanted them to be able to have, for the most part, you have unlimited practice problems that you can do because they're all computer generated. Sometimes they repeat, but ideally you get to have multiple of the same type of problem. And if you can watch a tutorial video and then follow what they do and do it and practice it for as many problems as you need then eventually you don't really need a teacher. All you need to do is find out what the curriculum is and learn it one step at a time. The only main thing that teachers do is they can tell you what you're doing wrong when they see you doing things versus just looking at a computer. It's not always going to tell you what you're doing wrong in terms of your work, and it can't interpret what you're thinking always. But I would say most computers are getting smart enough to be able to tell what you're doing wrong to the, like when I was trying to teach myself how to code, one of the things you do is you type in code and it tells you what you did wrong. So it's really, teachers are good for the feedback of what you're doing wrong. However, they don't, teachers are not the end all be all of education. I said the other day, about 90% of what I've learned throughout my life is not from a teacher. It's from reading. It's from listening to things. It's from learning from other people that were not specifically there to teach me subjects. Elon Musk said it pretty well. High school, middle school, college, you're just learning a bunch of algorithms. So an algorithm is pretty much a set of steps you take given any different kind of situation. So if you're given a certain situation, you then go ahead and do a certain set of steps to accomplish something. That's kind of all teachers are doing, but you can do that with the internet. You can do that with there's like endless information out there that you could find for any given type of math problem. Math probably would go obsolete first because it's really easy to just I learned so when I was in college, when I went to UMass Amherst, I did not understand what my teachers were saying because some of them had really bad accents. 2, I was really good at falling asleep in class. And 3, most of the time you were better off going and watching tutorial videos on how to do things rather than trying to remember or write down notes from what was in class. A lot of times they would lecture and you wouldn't pull anything out of it because you need them to slow down, redo something, and you're in a class of 100 people and you just don't have time to do that. So I think teachers will become obsolete because I think that for the most part, computers will be able to be trained to identify your errors quicker than a human can. And if you think about all the algorithms, the things that are going on in our head, those can be replicated by robots. So I think entrepreneurs are more likely to still exist past robots because that requires more thought than teaching. Teaching is sort of a set of algorithms. It's a set of steps. I show someone how to do something, or I teach a class how to do something by example. I say why it might or not be useful. I might not even say that. And then I will sort of point out their errors. So if a computer can be pointing out your errors, you can do that any time of day. And that's kind of my answer to why teachers, I think, will be obsolete eventually. I think some level of learning will not always be obsolete, but I think that high school public education, if you're driven enough, you can easily get a high school education on your own. Same with college. I really feel like if you were to just get online classes where no one's teaching anything, you could find enough YouTube videos and videos online and tutorials and people to teach you what you want to learn instead of coming from a teacher. Let me come back to one of the other questions. Let's see. So, Peak Ninja, do you support teachers getting guns, weapons? This is what I'll say about that. I'm not interested in carrying a gun. I think that it would totally change the way that the classroom operates. I think that if I were walking around with a gun, I would have an added fear of a student trying to disarm me and shoot it. I think that by adding more weapons to school, as an individual teacher, I would like to learn how to use a gun. I would not want to have one in school. I would not want to have one on my belt. I don't know that I'd want to have one locked up in a closet because by the time I might need to use it, it would not be useful. So I think that's kind of my answer to that question is for me personally, I don't think I would want to carry one. I could imagine there being teachers that would work really well for, where I think some schools or some teachers that are trained, like I know that there are teachers out there that have military experience or are skilled shooters. And if you can find teachers that are really responsible about having a gun, I could imagine it working, and I think it would totally change the way that schools run. So, in terms of my school experiences that are not militarized, I think that I think it would just totally change the culture of schools, and schools would no longer be the way that we know them now. So I think that it would totally change the way schools look, and I'm not yet interested in having schools look a different way. And I hope that answers your question, Peak Ninja. Let's see, coming back. Let's see. What are you doing on your snow day, Courtney? Hung out with some dogs. We watched a little bit of The Office, doing this video, which we're going on 65 minutes now. I was working on my Teach Point goals, which are like the evidence that we have to support that we are a teacher abiding by the standards of the school, of the state, and working on some art. I was working on writing a song to teach trigonometry, remixing Post Malone's Rockstar. Your wife could be a guy, you don't know that. Do you have an Xbox? I do have an Xbox. Have you ever... I don't understand that question, Peak Ninja, about touch pet gotten stolen by a monkey. I don't get that. Fish rod for the homeless. Do you have neat handwriting? Do I have neat handwriting? I don't know. I don't know that I have that neat of handwriting. I'm fishing through the comments to see which ones are sort of worthwhile answering. You already answered that. Please take the test. Please take the test. We have to know. C plays. I don't understand what you're asking me to do. Zach, why did you cross out Sky for idea 9? Oh, Poke Girl Bros. You must have a copy of my book. So a lot of people say sky's the limit. And what I was trying to point out there with that was that sky you can kind of see. And when people say sky's the limit and they look up and they see the sky, they think that's the limit. Fact is, we don't really know what the limit is. The limit is kind of what you make it. So if you say the sky's the limit, that's saying that you know what the limit is. But the fact is, we don't really know what it is. So for example, the Super Bowl reaction video that I came out with at the beginning of February, I thought I was going to get maybe 100 views on it, and it's now up to 72,000. So for me to say the sky is the limit, I might have been saying, it could get 1,000 or 10,000, but I think when you say black hole's the limit, which is the unknown, it's saying that you don't know what the limit is. So that's why I titled that chapter that way. Just got a call for no school. Really? I have not gotten a call, so I'll have to check out. The only people that would try to steal your gun would be cotton monkeys. There's a lot of people that would probably try to steal guns that are not trying to do good with them. I don't know if there's any specific set of people that would do it, and there's really no point in trying to categorizing them. Do you think KP will have a snow day? I think it's possible for sure. I'm planning on having school for tomorrow, so I'm preparing for it. I'm not going to allow myself to mentally say like, nope, we're not having school tomorrow, because I think that would set me up for disaster. So I'm gonna hope for it. I don't really want to have to drive through a lot of stuff, and I think the roads are gonna be nasty, but I'm gonna plan for it. That's what I would say about that. Who are your top five favorite colleagues? Well, it kind of part of that is depending on the school. I've had a lot of great colleagues through the 3 schools that I've now worked among. I don't know that I've gotten to know any of the ones at KP super wonderfully, so that I don't think I could say it. One of my voicemail. that could be the school cancellation. But top 5 favorite colleagues, I would say people to learn from or people to hang out with are different. But some of the names, and these are not in a specific order. My mentor, Miss Boyce in the middle school, she has really taught me a lot. She is a great teacher herself. I've gotten to observe her, and I think she gives me a lot of great advice that allows me to keep um, keep high self-confidence, which I think is tough for new teachers, and at the same time, really think critically about what I'm doing. Mr. Geary, who has been a friend of mine for some time, he does a really great job helping me see what I'm doing well, what I'm not doing well in the classroom, and make adjustments for that. And also dealing with some of the different problems that I've had at the job. Ms. Frey is a teacher that has really helped me have fun at the school and feel welcome. I think a lot of teachers, when they first come in, you don't always have great opportunities to meet new people and really get to know them because you're all doing your job, and you have these meetings and stuff, but it doesn't always bond you. So I think she's done a great job helping me feel really welcome. Um, Ms. DeLuca, who is next door to me, oftentimes we'll pop our heads into each other asking questions. She's been really wonderful in helping me to find answers to the questions that I have, as she's taught the class that I'm teaching for I'm not sure how many years, but quite a few. And she's been really helpful when I'm trying to look at how I want to teach a certain method and how I might want to go. Bye, Caleb. Thanks for coming. Um, Ms. Luke has been really helpful in helping me see the order or the way that I go about teaching something. Those are some of the top ones that I'm thinking of. Um, Pretty much anyone in the math department I know a lot better than a lot of the others. Ms. Tukowski I've gotten to play quite a bit of volleyball with, and she's really fun to hang out with. Um, Mr. Kramer, it's been really fun hanging out with him at lunch and learning about some of the things that he's done over his many years at KP. Mr. Danielson, um, it's been fun being a first year teacher with him. It looks like we will hopefully be both teaching the same class next year, algebraic applications. Miss Lawler across the hall, she's been really great to talk to because she's not new like I am, and she's in the same age group, and it's really great to bounce questions off her as she's taught the geometry class that I have. Mr. Kramer, whoa, what? So, Caleb, I thought you were signing off. You're being silly. For the person that asked that question, Poke Go Bros, I hope that answered your question. Have you watched Dead Meat? I have not watched Dead Meat. I can't say I know what that is. Caleb, I'm not really sure why you enjoy so much calling me gay. I mean, it gives me a lot of comments, and if you haven't noticed, it doesn't really faze me, and I'm not offended by it, and I'm surprised that you feel like it could be offensive. What I would like you to appreciate is that there are people out there that would really appreciate if you would stop doing that. I myself would like for you to consider the impact that you have on other people, because I don't think you appreciate I don't know what it is. I don't know you, and I don't know what you go through. I don't know what problems that you have. I don't know what life issues you go through. But I think that if you were to consider if other people are going through the same situation you are, that you would not necessarily want them to make fun of others for it. So, being gay, a lot of people that are gay deal with a lot of crap for it. And I think it would be really pleasant if you could respect that being gay is not an insult. There's nothing wrong with that. So I challenge you to, I don't know, be more civil. That's kind of it. It's sounding like you do go to the school that I teach at, so I would really invite you to embrace the core values of the school. Let's see. blowing up the chat. I gotta go back. Are you planning on coming to any spring sports game? I am more likely to show up to a spring sports game if someone invites me. So if there's one that you want me to come to, Courtney, I would love to come. And if you let me know when the best ones are, or which ones you'd like me to come to specifically, there's a much higher likelihood of me coming. But I absolutely love supporting students that I have and or students that I know and or the school. Have you ever helped a fellow teacher and at KP? Well, I would say that at my last school, helped is an interesting word to use there. So helped, I don't think I've ever really helped a teacher make their math class better, as I'm still on the newer side. I would say that I've presented ideas for what I'm doing in class, which people have chosen to take on for themselves, and they've it's come out positively. For example, last year when we were learning functions, I proposed the idea of everybody in the class shooting a video and coming up with an X and Y axis. For example, if you were shooting a basketball, the time being the x-axis and the y-axis being the distance from the hoop. And if you were to create a video and then you had to make a function based on that video. So I've helped people come up with lessons and ideas for their class. I would not necessarily say I've helped them, as most of the observations I'm doing are to learn for myself and not necessarily constructive criticism for others. The way I might say that I've helped other teachers before is by trying to be a positive influence. I know that a lot of teachers, sometimes we get bogged down, we get annoyed, we're humans too, and just like if you have enough students in the classroom that bug you as another student, you might get fazed by it. I think the same thing happens for teachers. We're just as human. So I would say that I've helped other teachers in keeping a positive way of being, a positive attitude towards things. I don't know how much I've helped them, but I'd like to think that that's how I have, if I have. I'm gonna adjust this light for a second. I'm hoping this helps. Woo, this is different. I don't know if I like it. Yeah, he does want attention, doesn't he? He's helped Mr. Kramer. I don't know how I've helped Mr. Kramer. Do you have any thoughts on the watering down of honors classes recently? Say more about that, lioness. I'm not certain what you mean by that. I'll be way more civil. I'm glad to hear it, Caleb. Let's see if your actions follow your words. Thoughts on Julian KP bathrooms? I can't say I haven't seen anyone do it. I haven't smelled it. I haven't even done any research to see what it looks like. I've only heard about it from students in some administration. It seems like a waste of time to me. From what I have heard about it, it doesn't really accomplish much. It sounds like people are just trying to be cool and getting away with doing something that they're not supposed to, which I'm assuming gives them some sort of social status in some way. So all the power to you if you're getting what you want out of it. But the question is, what is it that you really want out of it, and are you getting that? I would be surprised if people are actually getting what they intend to out of it. From what I hear, it's probably worse for you than you realize. So I don't know, it just seems like a general waste of time. It seems like probably a way that people try to escape from their own reality, and I wonder if it helps. I would say back when I was in high school, I remember trying Skoal, which is chewing tobacco that you don't chew on, you just throw it in your lip. And the 3 times I tried it, because I was trying to be cool with my friends, I puked all 3 times. It did not turn out very well. I wasn't 18 yet, so it was illegal that I was doing it, but chewing tobacco is probably the grossest thing that I've tried doing. That was just a really bad decision that I ended up not coming out on top of. I hope that answers your question. Simple Jimmy the Blue Chip. Me gusta Jewel, have you ever seen Ben Shapiro? I do not know who Ben Shapiro is. Kalu, thoughts on Kalu doing 9/11? I also do not know what that is. So simple Jimmy Blue Chip, I had in the past when I was a teenager, and it did not turn out well. C plays? No, I do not. I am 21 and I do drink alcohol sometimes. Most of the time I'll have a glass of wine with dinner, but that's pretty much it. Brown squirrel, shake your bushy tail. Uh-huh. I'm referring to the fact that honors classes used to be being for children who can learn at faster rates and need less repetition, and now the majority of students are honors history classes. So the question was, what do I think about watering down of honors classes? I think that if you're looking at education from a macro standpoint, so from a really sort of big lens where a lot of people, I mean, if you think about our school, we have like what, 1,200 students or so, or we have 1,400 students or something. I think to offer enough classes that honors classes, CP classes, AP classes are offered to, if those are or ECP classes, so there's 4 levels of classes. To say that you can fit everyone into those 4 categories accurately, it's going to be tough. So I think that the watering down of honors classes, where teachers are being held to a certain speed of teaching, and the students are not keeping up, and so the teachers slow down the speed with which they teach things, I would say as long as they're getting through the material, I guess they're doing it as designed. I think any teacher that has entered the profession, they're in it to teach, they're in it to see people grow. And, I think one of the Achilles heels of teachers sometimes is that they see students that are struggling with something and they want to help them. So rather than saying, nope, I'm going to stick to the curriculum, I'm going to stick to the speed of this class, we're going to move right through, they take extra time on things. And I think it's why we're teachers. If we were to be kind of cutthroat and say, nope, we're moving on later, like go learn it on your own, I think if we're doing that with a large portion of people, even if there's a lot of students in the wrong section class, I think that that type of teacher would probably be better suited for AP classes or for being a college professor. So sort of to answer your question, I think that it's hard to have a curriculum, have a school where there's not going to be some sort of honors or CP or ECP or AP class where things are slowed down by students that are trying to be up at that level. It's always a challenge getting students into the right section that's going to fit their learning speed. And at the same time, you want to see students pushing themselves to learn at a faster speed because they're exhibiting growth mindset, which is really what's probably more important than anything else, is having them see that they can fit in with the faster paced people. Because once you're done with high school, done with college, in the end, you just want people to come out of those experiences with a lot of like head knowledge and the ability to say, I can go learn this no matter what it is that they're learning. Like me learning how to own a home, rent a home so that I can build financial freedom. That's something that no one's going to teach me. I have to learn it myself, and I have to reach out to people to help mentor me or help teach me how to do things. Like today I was trying to figure out how to get a $50,000 loan so we can fix up our house with money we don't have yet. And without growth mindset, without the ability to say to yourself, I can do this, I'm a CP student and I want to get into an honors class, without the ability to project yourself ahead of where reality currently says you are, that could be huge missing for the positive future of us achieving our goals, which that's really why we're in education, is to achieve our goals and to learn skills that ideally the marketplace is going to need anyway. All right, let me come back a little bit here. All right, so Linus, I hope that answered your question. History equals EZW. Yeah, I was not good at history, so I cannot agree with you on that one. I'm not much of a writer or reader. I listen to audiobooks because I'm really slow reader. Not if you're in AP. If you're in AP, then you're literally Caleb. Not understanding that one. But yeah, Peak Ninjas, that does sound like something that I would appreciate if you would leave off this chat. What's your favorite class to teach? I would say it's probably honors geometry. Honors geometry probably because I can go through concepts a little bit faster. We don't have to go over as much algebra often. A lot of times in the other geometry sections, I have to reiterate some algebra skills, and I like when I don't have to go over that because I'm not really as much of a fan of algebra. I like being able to use algebra for things, but not have to explicitly teach algebra. So I would say the geometry honors class. Algebra 2 honors, I think I would definitely, I'm glad that I'm teaching honors algebra 2 rather than CP algebra 2, because again, I would not want to go back. I don't like teaching algebra 1. I'll say that much. I hope that answers your question, Courtney. Where'd we go? Do a video with Swans. I don't know who Swans is, or Money Wands. Mr. Watson, what are your thoughts on being a thought boy? I don't know what that is, so my thought is I don't know. Poke Go, do you play Pokemon Go? Thought equals think share. Okay. Not thought is something different. Why Caleb is being mean and I roasted him. Look it up. Our geometry class is sometimes very slow. I think they're learning at the speed that is expected of them. I think the CP class is meant to go on a speed that they can catch up with their algebra skills. So I wouldn't say they're slow. I would say as a whole class, we're going about the speed that's appropriate for the level. Stop talking about me. All right, come on, guys. Let's try to be a little bit more civil to each other. And yeah, Caleb, I thought you did leave. But yeah, any other questions? I'm thinking, unless you guys get more, I'll probably head out and go eat dinner with my family. I wish I had some water. My throat's getting sore talking. I wish I had something more entertaining. I'm being super civil, Thought Boy. See, I feel like you're not being civil by calling me Thought Boy. It's not that it's offensive, and I'm not really sure what it means to be a Thought Boy, so. I don't have a good answer for that one, Peak Ninja. I don't know. I think there's plenty of things you could search on Google to answer that one. All right. Well, unless there's any other questions, yeah, I have fun talking with Mr. Kramer. He's a good coach. He's a good teacher. Thank you for watching. If you like this, give it a like. I imagine no one that is watching this recording is going to watch the whole thing. Which came the chicken or the egg first? I don't have a good answer for that one. We didn't have homework, right? Question mark. It was to finish the worksheet that I gave to you, which was a continuation of the previous day's work. Thank you for watching. What am I going to say? Throw in the comments. Stay weird, humans. Yay!